In the United States, there's been a semi-peaceful turnover in power, and we at On the Hill have done the same. We're your hosts, Nike Nifawoshe and Jonah Lewis.
White liberals are especially excited about Joe Biden being inaugurated because racism no longer exists. Relieved that they no longer have to share black squares, the white liberals can now focus their energy back on gentrifying black and brown neighborhoods.
This past January, Joe Biden was sworn into office following a big celebration with speeches, guest appearances, and lots of fireworks.
With many Americans still waiting on COVID relief orders, it feels like the inauguration is New Year's for America.
Because we're turning over a new leaf?
No, because we make resolutions, stick to them for about 2 weeks, and never pick it back up again. The inauguration is even concluded with Katy Perry's firework, just to rub it in our faces.
Speaking of the inauguration, the Obamas blew up on Twitter when they dropped some hot fits on innocent civilians.
The inauguration was full of fabulous designer outfits. It makes me glad that they're responsible for combating wealth inequality.
The White House was recently fumigated and deep cleaned in preparation of Joe Biden's arrival. In the White House, they found some of Trump's relics left behind, like a large tub of orange zest almay foundation for the Oompa Loompa in your life,
An excessively large tentacle dildo,
unsigned divorce papers,
a printout of a WikiHow article entitled How to Have Swag,
gallon bag of Coke,
a love letter from Dennis Rodman to Trump,
the stick Trump dislodges from his ass at night,
a shirtless photo of Rush Limbaugh pinching his nipples,
piles of rotting Trump steaks in common areas,
a tasteful collection of small gloves,
the cotton candy machine he pulls his hair from every morning,
and Barron Trump in the fetal position, crying in the stairwell.
Now that Trump is out of office, our job making fun of the president is a little bit harder, but only a little. For example, the official POTUS Twitter account finally unfollowed Chrissy Teigen upon her request so she could swear again. They're still pitching us softballs.
Trump, the Home Alone 2 Lost in New York star, shockingly didn't make a good politician. Let's hope Sexy Joe from Parks and Rec will do better.
Trump has proposed forming a new political party, the Patriot Party, in the wake of his loss. After the announcement, Ayn Rand's court creamed in her jeans.
I propose the party be called Incel 2.0 because it's full of domestic terrorists and virgins.
Joe Biden recently reversed the transgender military ban. This is exciting news because in America, the true mark of equality is the right to die for an oil corporation.
Gwyneth Paltrow's This Smells Like My Vagina candle recently exploded in a woman's home, further proving that Gwyneth Paltrow has a bomb-ass pussy.
Fun fact, it was extinguished by a wet-ass pussy.
In other genital news, a man's Bluetooth-connected chastity belt was recently hacked into. The hacker asked for $1,000 to relinquish control of the dick cage. Initially, the man was sexually excited by this, thinking the hacker was his girlfriend. After learning this was an actual hack, the man sent the money to the hacker, who refused to give back control. The man was forced to free his dick from the cage by pulling the belt apart. So, me and whose daughter? Rich people have been blaming poor people for trying to steal their money. After the Reddit-fueled GameStop fiasco, a hedge fund billionaire claimed that this was a, quote, way to attack wealthy people.
Sounds good to me. What exactly happened with GameStop anyway?
Well, rich people decided that GameStop was probably going to go out of business, so they bet against its stock. Then a bunch of Redditors decided that since this was the only place they could harass gamer girls in person, they couldn't let that happen. So they started buying up GameStop stock, and the rich people started losing money.
Rich people losing money in America? Is that allowed?
Shocking to me too, but apparently they can, in fact, lose money on risky investments in extreme circumstances.
Well, hopefully Congress will get right on that. We can't let poor people have money. Then the rich people would have slightly less money.
I agree. That's completely unacceptable that people might lose money for betting against a company that employs thousands of Americans. Truly disgraceful.
Currently, COVID vaccines are expected to reach college students by April. And there's been some hesitancy surrounding what is in the vaccine. What are the effects of the vaccine? Blah, blah, blah.
But from all of us on the Hill, we want you to know that you don't get to be afraid of the vaccine.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you've been to a party at Pica.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you've been to the 5th floor bathroom in Davis.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you've ridden the P2P past 9 o'clock.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you ever drank out of the old well.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you've ever drank jungle juice from a Walmart laundry basket or an unwashed cooler stolen from a kid's soccer team in 2006.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you've ever showered in a whole dorm.
You don't get to be afraid of the vaccine if you've ever been in the vicinity of mall.
In other college news, UNC had a giant frat drug bust and a myriad of where y'all going fiascos. This seems like the fiscally and morally responsible decision for the university to replace all frat houses with restaurants. Our suggestions are a cookout or an Olive Garden.
Definitely not Subway, though.
Apparently, Subway tuna sandwiches don't even contain tuna.
Then what are they made of?
In the midst of a climate crisis, Ted Cruz went to Mexico with his family while his constituents froze to death to, quote, be a good dad. So it's okay when you're crossing from that direction?
Let's have a moment of silence for Ted Cruz's career. Governor Roy Cooper recently vetoed a bill allowing for in-person K-12 learning. While online learning is difficult for most, all can agree it is hella sick to not have to awkwardly do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. Politicians like Madison Cawthorn do not agree with the move, tweeting, "Open schools now."
Hey,
Madison, you want kids standing for the pledge? Why don't you try standing, Madison? Let's make this interesting, Madison. I challenge you to a joust, wheelchair on wheelchair. Winner gets to be the new NC representative. I want minion over your land.
Jonah, Dominion.
Oh, Dominion, Madison.
Why do you want to fight him so bad?
Not only is he a rapist Nazi, he is first and foremost a little bitch boy. So let's meet at the second floor of the North Carolina General Assembly so there's no escape for either of us.
And that's all we have for today, folks. Thanks for joining us
on the hill.